A liturgy celebrated in a dead language, with the priest facing away from the people in near total silence, following rubrics unchanged for half a millennium. This should repel young people. Instead, it is attracting them. Why? Because as Archduke Eduard von Habsburg-Lothringen, former Hungarian ambassador to the Vatican, argues, the traditional Latin Mass is the absolute antithesis of today's world. And in an age of noise, speed, and digital saturation, that antithesis has become a lifeline. Habsburg recently published Discovering the Latin Mass, a travel guide for the curious. The book was born from his own frustration. He walked into his first traditional Latin Mass feeling not just confused but irritated. No one had prepared him. The language, the gestures, the structure, everything felt alien. That irritation, however, gave way to transformation. He says the Latin Mass changed not only his own spiritual life, but his entire family's. Daily prayer, the rosary, novenas, these became woven into ordinary home life. The greatest gift was not the liturgy itself, but what it produced outside the church doors. A renewal of domestic faith. Why are young Catholics, many born decades after the post-Vatican II reforms, now seeking out this ancient form? Habsburg points to three elements: silence, reverence, and mystery. Modern culture is loud, performative, and transactional. The Latin Mass offers none of that. The silence is not empty. It is pregnant with presence. The reverence is not stiffness. It is recognition of the sacred. The mystery is not confusion. It is the proper human response to divine transcendence. For a generation raised on curated content and algorithmic noise, this silence feels revolutionary. The Latin language itself, often seen as a barrier, becomes a gift. Its unfamiliarity strips away the presumption of easy understanding. Worshippers cannot simply follow along like a podcast. They must surrender to the rhythm, the gesture, the posture. This embodied prayer resists the modern obsession with efficiency and information. As Habsburg notes, the Latin Mass communicates one unambiguous message: this is holy. Critics exist, of course. Some priests were trained in an era when the old Mass was dismissed as obsolete. Others point to online traditionalist communities that can appear harsh or judgmental. Habsburg acknowledges this, but insists that debates about the Mass must be marked by charity, not caricature. He also notes that reverent celebrations of the modern Mass are equally capable of bearing good fruit. The future of the Church, he believes, is not a battlefield between forms, but a garden of faithful Catholics wherever they are found. Data from multiple dioceses and surveys, including a 2022 study by the Center for Applied Research in the Apostolate, CARA, show that Latin Mass attendees are disproportionately young, with a median age often 10 to 15 years lower than the average Catholic congregation. This is not nostalgia. These are converts and reverts who never experienced the preconciliar church. They are coming because they find something their world has lost, a worship that does not try to entertain them, but to transform them. Habsburg remains optimistic, not because the church's problems are small, they are not, but because the hunger for the sacred, for silence, for mystery, is growing. And that hunger, when met by the church's deepest liturgical tradition, produces not a remnant of bitter survivors, but a generation of joyful disciples. The Latin Mass is not about the past. It is about the future. And that future, for once, is quiet enough to hear God speak.